Good morning. I'm Angel, and I'm here with Mamma Rita Money. And we are doing an event October 19th called Money, Mommy, and Me. And so I just wanted to get with the expert herself and hear a little bit more about her and why you should be so interested in hearing what she has to say.
Oh, Angel, thank you so much for having me. I'm excited, enjoying our coffees, and I'm excited because, you know what, we're getting to change things for this generation and the next.
Yeah, that's
so doing
important.
Money, Mommy, and Me is super exciting. What we're going to talk about is making your kid a money genius. Like, don't we wish that we were money geniuses growing up?
Come on, Mom. What happened?
Yeah, well, what happened?
Okay.
Yeah, like it's okay. It is okay. You know what? Our parents just didn't know what they didn't know. I'm going to say specifically your generation. I know I'm just a wee bit older than you. But really, it's that we want to make a difference. And how do we make a difference? And we know it starts with our kids because we always say, if I only knew, you know, I would have done this or I should have done that. So then how do we change that? Well, we know that we have to gain knowledge. But do we want to do it in like the boring old way where our eyes are rolling in the back of our heads? No.
We want it to be fun.
We want it to be fun. We want to engage our children because, you know what? What kids learn is before the age, I'm going to say of 8, their money thoughts and stories have already formulated.
That's crazy.
So you and I were talking a little bit earlier about the fact that when we're in our homes, if I'm going to be real and authentic, most of us are arguing about money situations.
Yes.
And
it's like the number one cause of divorce.
It
finances.
is.
So I'm sure that the conversation's happening in front of the kids.
So finances and communication,
yes.
Right? So we need to get those two succinct and together. Mm-hmm. So we also talked about, especially in marriages, it's a partnership. Mm-hmm. And your partner doesn't always have the same background around money as you do. So that's why there's that conflict and where we can talk about it. So there's a book out there called How to Make Your Kid a Money Genius by Beth Kobliner. And it's super amazing. So how many moms out there have time to read with their kids running around?
Never.
Like never.
Sometimes audiobooks help, but
audiobooks do help.
Yeah.
But you know what? We talk about the village, right? So Money, Mommy, and Me is a village of women with children that want to create that space where they learn and they know and they get to teach their children. So we follow this amazing book, and it talks about 14 rules to talking to your child about money. So we're going to talk about some of those rules. Like,
can you tell us a little bit about them?
Yeah, I'll give you a couple. There's starting earlier than you think. So most people don't realize, like, we really need to start as early as, well, first of all, they're hearing our words. Mm-hmm. Those words are formulating in the brain. If they're hearing negative talk around money, what do you think that area in their brain is developing? A negative space for it. Yeah. So we really need to start earlier than we think. And keeping it age appropriate, right? You're not going to talk to your kid about a banking account online at age 3. I mean,
sure?
Yeah, I'm really sure. You know, but kids do learn about money. Like when you talk about trading, like kids will trade toys, right? Mm-hmm. Money is an exchange. So that's really how simple and age-appropriate it can be. And then, okay, as parents, we shouldn't be lying about our money. You know how many times you go to the store, right, with your kids? Mom, I want this toy. And you're like, nope, I don't have any money. And then all of a sudden you're driving and your kid's in the back seat and they start waffling through your purse. And they find cash. Yeah, not a good thing. So then what are we teaching? We're teaching them that it's okay to lie around money. And there's really no need. It's like being honest. And the other important thing is not to say, we talked about this. You talked about somebody who had a different version of, instead of saying, I can't afford this.
Yes. How can we afford this? How do you want to come up with the money?
How should we come up with the money to do this? Again, teaching
them.
What
are your thoughts?
Right, and engaging them.
Yeah, it's so good. I'm learning. And I haven't even got the whole course.
Right? So those are some top points in the 14 that we're going to talk about. And then it's also about the 7 things that you don't need to tell your kids about money, right? So you don't need to tell them that you're making more money than your spouse.
Man, really? That's going to happen for me one day. I can't tell them. I'm just
No,
kidding.
you cannot tell them. And this actually leads to relationship around money between spouses. Both of you have different backgrounds, different stories that each of you grew up with.
Yeah.
So the one way to get on the same page is to get the same information as adults have a conversation about what your united discussion is in front of your children. Now, if something kind of creeps out where you are not united, then say, you know what? We're going to take this discussion and talk about it a little bit later. A lot of parents want to give the instant gratification to their kids, and that has led to a generation, and I'm not going to say it's everyone, but a large number of people wanting that instant gratification, right? And then I'm going to say people in my generation are saying, oh, these millennials, their expectations are this or that. Well, guess who created that?
We did.
Right.
Yeah.
I did.
Well, yeah.
Or we
Parents
did.
did, yeah.
Parents did unknowingly. And so then they don't get it. So it's how do we level all of that so that we're on the same page together and just having discussions. This is the way we do it, you know? If there's a problem anywhere, right? Your child comes to you with a problem or you have a problem, you got to go to someone to talk about it.
Yeah.
And so again, community, the village. It takes a village to raise children, but I always tell all the mamas that when we're in that village, you look around, you're the child, I'm the child. We're here to raise each other up.
Yeah.
I don't know about you. I mean, I always tell people, I may be 51, but on
You look
some,
amazing.
Thank you. On some days, I feel like I'm 5, especially if I'm on the beach picking up seashells. You know, other days I feel like the defiant 12-year-old, especially if I want to do something and maybe my husband doesn't want to. And then the other times I want to be 21, especially when it comes to wine, women, and wealth, right?
Yeah.
I want to have fun. So it really is about creating positive money experiences, making the conversations around money fun.
Yes.
Money is energetic. So we want positive money coming to us, right? We don't want money coming to us, I'm going to put it like this, like you don't want to have a car accident or a lawsuit situation to get money.
Yeah.
You know what? The biggest ways people think money comes to them is inheritance, lottery, so it's the words lottery, and I'm forgetting the third one as we're discussing, but it will come to me. So inheritance, someone has to die,
Yeah,
right?
that's negative.
Lottery. Oh, the third one, I knew it come to me. Lawsuit. That's what we're talking about. And if you do it like ILL, that spells ill.
Yeah, I don't like
So
it.
really, we don't want energetically money to come to us that way. So we have to be more conscientious about our words. And then, what are the options out there? We can talk about the experiential part and the energetic part. So then what's the technical part and how can we make that a little bit fun? Well, I like plans like $1 Million Baby plans, right?
Oh, I do
Don't you
too.
wish
It
you were a $1
sounds
Million
good.
Baby?
Yes.
So, and to be able to do that for your children is super awesome. And a lot of people only know about, some of you out there know about 529 plans and think that's the only option for college funding.
And some of you don't know any, like me. I didn't even know what that was. I remember you asked me when we met for the first time, what do you think when you think college savings? I'm like, a regular savings account? I'm not sure of an answer. I have no idea.
And that's the majority because who taught you?
Yeah, I didn't have anyone teaching me, and schools don't teach you.
Well, school, yes. And by the way, if we want to wait for schools, many generations have been waiting for schools to do it. So the only way we could do it is we get to take a stand for ourselves. We get to control our own economies. We don't have to have our finances dependent on, oh my God, if somebody tweets, our money is going to go down. Nope, we have the power to totally control that. And that was one of my things, I didn't share really why I did this, was I've always been entrepreneurially, had that mindset. And then when I had my kids, I was like, oh my God, what am I teaching them? And then I got hit with cancer 8 years ago. And I thought, oh my God, if I'm not here on this earth, I have taught them independence in their household things, but I didn't teach them independence around their money. And so I was on a hell-bent mission, and I still am. At first, it was for my own children. But that for them to be in a world where other people are not being empowered, I have a really huge vision, right? I want all of middle income America to be educated just as the wealthy and have the same options. Because don't you ever have that feeling where, like, if I just knew a little bit more, I could bridge over. And I was like, where am I going to learn about this? So after my cancer, and by the way, I'm in remission, I'm happy and healthy and just moving forward.
That is amazing. I know her story is insane. Hopefully she'll share it one day with you guys.
But it's like this that we make this mission go across. So I want to give you kudos and honor you for like being curious enough to take the journey, being vulnerable enough to take the journey, because you are not alone and you're not alone. We are all here together in this community to make it the most awesome place for us to live in, to watch our kids flourish and grow, and just have all the options and make the best personal economic choices in our lives so that no one can dictate to us what we do around our money, no matter what economy we're in. And that's my goal.
It's so empowering.
It is so empowering. It's so much fun. It really is.
And honestly, like you said, like around the choices, but that's another thing too that I like realize is you have to make a choice to start like changing the conversations about choices. And I don't know like where you guys are, but I'll share a little bit about my journey in a different video. But we haven't really made choices yet, you know? And then once you have kids, you realize like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? I don't want to be in a position, especially here living in Los Angeles where everything's so expensive. What happens?
Right.
You know, what happens if we're not around or something, you know, something's going on or we need extra money for something? We're in the position, that's why I was so eager and curious, is like I want to start making those choices. And so before I make the wrong choices or I have the wrong conversations around my children, like now let's learn this together, and like who better than with you as the expert. And so so it's crazy because some of us are probably like me and haven't even made a choice yet.
Right. And
that's okay.
You're hitting on the key thing. It's about being taught, not told what to do with your money. You're empowered to make your own decisions. You get to flourish your finances the way that you want. And I don't know. For me, it's just so exciting to see families grow across the nation and learn the not so secret secrets of millionaires. Before it was you either had to have the money, right? You'd had to have 6 figures to get this information from a financial person. Now it's multiple 6 figures. Mm-hmm. Or you're paying into education that was multiple, 6 figures, which is what I did. But I don't tell people to do that lightly because you don't have to anymore, because this information is out there. You just have to learn what are the resources, what are good books, how do you get taught, and then you get to make your best decisions. And I'm so super excited. There are so many facets to this that I could talk about, because especially the illness part is protecting our financial households around money, so that, when I was sick with cancer, I actually felt like a burden to my family, which is not where we should be. But there are options to protect us so that this way we could access big piles of money. If I had only learned, I was learning, but the timing was, I was 2 months short of implementing and executing my plan before I got diagnosed. And I never want any moms to be there.
Yeah.
Because to watch my children and then even have my son go, Mom, I'm going, most of you know Woodbury, so it's a local private college. Mom, I'm going to that college. Well, when you're sick with cancer, your expenses go up.
Yeah.
And my income went down to nothing. Not only that, a lot of people say, well, you had your husband. Well, my husband was in sales, who was taking me to the doctor's visits pretty much every day.
Yeah.
For a whole month.
So both incomes went down, yeah.
So both incomes were gone, right? He's not selling. So he's not making any money. What do? Well, there are options out there, and it doesn't cost a lot to invest in yourself, to protect yourself, because cancer is rampant. There are a lot of diseases out there, and we need to know about the resources so that this way we can leverage our money to work for us in the best way possible.
That's so good.
Yeah, it is so good. You know what? Bankruptcies due to medical related issues is over 60% every year of all the bankruptcies. That number's been climbing. It's actually 63% this past year.
Wow.
So just in 5 years, it went up 3% more. But that's like millions of more people,
Yeah.
right? All these families that are affected. So another mission of mine is in the next 10 years, just from education and people learning to implement what they can do to protect themselves, we're going to cut that bankruptcy rate in half, because that affects all of us. Those are people that are becoming homeless. Our homeless population is going up, especially women with children. And it's
so sad to see.
It is so sad to see. So the homelessness, the bankruptcies, and honestly, it's not just the financial bankruptcy. It's the emotional bankruptcy. And people going on welfare, and that actually costs us all individually. We're all affected about it. So my deal is we need to get that number down to 30% within the next 10 years. And the only way I could do that
is education.
Is educating
informing
you.
people.
Right. I was actually at a meeting where they were talking about, there's a group that I'm part of that's called Rotary. They eradicated polio. Through the polio vaccine. So now it's like 0.01% of people ever get polio.
Yeah.
So if they can do eradication through education of that, then I want people to be financially healthy, and we can eradicate the disease of financial, like I'm going to say neglect of looking at our finances. No more shame, no more blame. Let's just be real with each other like you're doing.
Like have the real conversation.
Have the conversation. That's what I was talking about earlier, right? Your kids, when they have a problem, they come to you. You help them, but you got to talk about it.
You got to be able to have those conversations.
Yeah,
I do have a question about it, though.
Sure.
So I'm sure there's going to be some people that are like, this isn't for me. I don't have extra money to spare. How do I start doing, like, implementing these things or having these conversations when I'm at the lowest of the low with money, right? So, like, is this conversation for everyone? Like,
oh my God, that's my favorite.
It doesn't matter what status financially that you're at.
Nope.
For these type of money, mommy, and me conversations.
Yep, because really, when you don't have money, that's the best position. I know it sounds funny, but when you're starting with nothing, first of all, you have nothing to lose.
Right.
The only thing is you're going to gain nuggets of knowledge and steps to implement. Because remember when I said, like I always wanted to get over that hump of like, okay, so right now the middle class is disappearing. There's two choices. You're either going to go up
or down,
or you're going to go down. If you don't have the knowledge and information, I'm going to tell you the likelihood of you going up is probably really, really small unless there's some kind of fortunate event, which really that's lottery.
Yeah.
And I don't like to leave things up like that. So learning basic things, I do consultations. So if somebody needs to know how to do an income expense sheet, what groups or programs are out there to access when you don't have money, a lot of stuff is online and I could just put the resources together. And I always tell people, it really is up to us and our commitment to ourselves. So if you're willing to take a step, I will show you. You take a step, and then I'll show up. And I'll take another step with you and another step so it doesn't seem so daunting.
Okay.
So this is all, like Money Mommy and Me is not just a talk at you thing. This is interactive.
Yeah, like talk with each other.
Just let's talk with each other.
Let's build a community, right? Like that's like my goal. It's like let's build this community like where everyone feels no shame,
right?
No embarrassment, nothing like that.
Safe.
Including myself, a very safe place to be able to talk about where you're at and like how do we go to the next level together. Kind of like what you were saying, like let's help each other flourish.
Yeah.
Like let's build a community where we can flourish together. But that's why I just wanted to make sure that I know that there's going to be some people that are like, okay, well she's going to be talking about money, but like I don't have money, so like is this for me? So I just wanted to make sure that like
I'm so glad that you addressed that because it so is for you. So. I mean, case in point, I had money. We lost it all, right? When I got sick, how many of us can afford to be without our regular income for 12 months?
Yeah, it's a lot.
6 months, 6 weeks, 6 days, right? How many of us can be that long without it? So for me, I was out of work for about 11 months, and it sent us downward. We ended up having to sell our home. Right, to pay off debts. And then I did the crazy thing of leveraging myself into educating myself because in my mind, I was that I'll be damned if I ever let this situation happen to me or anyone else I come in contact with again.
That's amazing.
Right?
Yeah.
So I didn't know, and I paid for the education, but this education is available for free, intentionally, because look at rising tides raise all ships. If we all elevate each other, it helps us. I'm going to say it's a selfish thing. We're going to make literally, I know it sounds cliche, but America great again by bringing back the middle class and the middle class to become an upper elevated class.
Because it's
just
important.
By the education.
Yeah, like if you know better and I know better and we all do better, it's better for everybody in society. Yeah.
Yep.
So everyone's
That's
winning.
the goal.
Okay.
Yep.
I'm so glad that we talked about that because I knew that there was going to be someone like I had the same question when I met with her. And I'm like, I don't know if I'm at that point where I need to learn things yet because I don't have the extensive flow of money to be putting into different things. And you reassured me that that's not the case. So I just want to make sure everyone knew that.
It's like armor, right? What shield are you going to have your kids go out into the world? What shield do you want to have when people are coming to you and talking about all sorts of money things and you're going, like, is this for real? How do I tell? How do I vet things? How do I learn? You need that shield, that armor, and I call it like you create your own financial criteria. And a lot of it is not what people think, really, because a lot of us have to touch base with our values. And our principles, because then that will hold strong on the decisions you make when somebody comes and says, hey, I have this great plan. Well, if it's not in alignment with what you already know, then it's an easy no thank you.
Absolutely.
Right? Mm-hmm. And so super, super, super important. So thank you so much. I'm super excited about what we're going to be doing.
I'm so excited. I'm sure that you guys have tons of questions too. So I just want to make sure everyone knows that this is something that we're going to be building upon. So this is not the last of the conversations, but definitely don't miss out on October 19th from 10 a.m. to noon. I will be sharing the details with you about how to virtually log on to because we want everyone, no matter where you're at or if you can't physically make it here, especially since it's for moms. Yeah. I know things happen with the kids first thing in the morning, or there's people that are on my page that are very close to my heart that are across the country. Yes. And so I don't want you guys to miss out on this conversation. So I'll be sharing that information with you. And then if you have any questions for myself or for Miss Rita, make sure you let us know so we can touch on those at the event. Absolutely. And then, let's just get this. Great. Yeah, and then let's just get this conversation started. There's just, I'm just excited to dive in.
And let's have fun with it.
Yeah.
Have fun with it. Totally be open because if you have a question, granted, there will be probably a dozen other women that have the same question too. So super important to do that. So I'm the question queen. I used to go to events and I used to be in rooms where I thought, oh my gosh, it was kind of scary and daunting because I thought I was the dumbest person in the room. But that didn't stop this hand from going up. And I learned something very important from the mentor at the front of the room who literally at an event said, the smartest person in the room is the person with the most questions because you have the most to gain. And believe it or not, in that you are empowering and teaching others when you do it. So never hold back. Never hold back. Any question and every question is open.
A really good question.
Is a really good question. Yep.
I mean, if I didn't ask you a lot of questions, we wouldn't be here.
We wouldn't be here.
I know.
That's right.
I'm so excited.
Thank you so much.
Is there anything else that you want to share before? I just wanted people to kind of get to know what the event's about, a little bit about you, because she's just such an inspirational woman, and I'm so happy that I was able to come in contact with you and that we had someone connect us.
And there's a lot of women like you, Angel, and like me, and we're all here powerhouses getting together to create a difference. And so literally there's nothing going to stop, the mamas of the world, right? Yeah. We're the nurturers, we have strength, and we are smart. We just need the opportunity to be able to find an arena where we can all grow and flourish together. So super, super excited to see you there, whether it's virtual or whether it's in person. If you want a personal hug, come on out. Yes. We'll give you virtual hugs too. But let's just have fun with all of this.
Yeah, and I'll just end with this too. I know we keep saying money, mommy, and me, and I know all families look different now. Yes. So if you have a little one involved, or you're even a grandparent, you're an aunt, uncle, that you make some of the financial decisions, or you just want to learn, because when you know better, you do better, this is for you too.
That's right.
So don't get discouraged by it just saying money, mommy, and me.
Yes.
Because it's for everybody.
It is for everybody.
And and with that, I hope you guys have a great day, and I can't wait to see you guys October 19th.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for doing this. And it just my heart just feels so full and so warm. And I know that this is going to impact so many lives. And thank you for being a part of it. Thank you for being the go-getter and getting out there and being really a true revolutionary in really creating such a change, not only in our community, but seriously, this is going nationwide.
I'm excited.
Me too.
Thank you.
Thank you, honey.
Bye.